Training camp day 3 has wrapped up, and there's plenty to talk about. Stefon Diggs, the top dude on the depth chart when it comes to wide receiver. Christian Harris's absence. Joe Mixon's vet day. Oh, so much more. Thanks for jumping in on the show. If you're watching live, appreciate you. Throw me a thumbs up on the video and get live in the comment section. We'll get to all of your comments, questions, joys, concerns in the comment section. If you're watching this after the fact, the comment section down below is still active, and on your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on this video. Appreciate everybody watching. Plenty to get to. Let's dive into it. The big thing from day 3 at Texans training camp for me, well, that's Stefon Diggs. Diggs just might be the dude for this team. It feels like CJ Stroud is always finding Stefon Diggs. And one of the better plays of the day was a Stefon Diggs route where he took off. Derek Stingley was defending him. Diggs started to go outside. He whipped it back inside, caught the pass from C.J. Stroud, and then juked Stingley as he was coming back to go make the play on Diggs, and then Diggs had a bunch of open field in front of him. Had a nice catch over on the sideline as well. Time and time again, you look up, and it's 7-1. It's 7-1. Now, this could be one of two things. This could just be, hey, that's how the offense operates, and Diggs is getting open. And if you're the open guy, you're going to get the football from C.J. Stroud. That very much is going to be the case. Whoever's open is going to get the football. For instance, the play I just mentioned where Diggs started outside, whipped it back inside, Tank Dell was flying over the top of Stefon Diggs. It was actually, from where I was standing, a really fun route design and how they created that play. And Dell's flying over the top of where Diggs is. And I thought for a second, Tank Dell's open. Well, and that pulled the safety in. Safety follows Tank Dell with his corner over to the sideline, and that opened up a lot of that area for Stefon Diggs, who had to catch the ball, make his guy miss. That's exactly what he did. Next thing you know, one is scampering up the field. If Dell was open, C.J. Stroud's probably taking that. But that safety coming down, and, maybe if that safety had made an earlier move to go get Diggs, Dell's running wide open, they hit it to him. It could just be Diggs is getting open. Or it could just simply be that there's a little bit of extra stress to get the ball to Diggs to catch up. Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud have a great relationship already. Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud have a great relationship already. Stefon Diggs has got to catch up to that. So it's maybe a little bit of a combination of both. If you can get the ball to Diggs, if you notice him as he's running around things, get it to him. Or if he's just getting open, get him the ball. I'm not super worried about Diggs getting too much. I'm not even really worried about him getting not enough, because I do feel like what he's ultimately going to get in this offense is going to be a more efficient and explosive amount than what or a more efficient amount and a more explosive portion of the amount than what he had in Buffalo with the Bills. I mean, he had 161 catches on average, targets on average in Buffalo. He's not going to get that in Houston, but if he's constantly getting first downs, he's constantly getting touchdowns, that'll be more than enough to satisfy Stefon Diggs. So that was Diggs' kind of the blender, I called it. He put Derek Stingley in the blender, outside, whipped it back inside. Stingley flies past him, has a nice one. Later on, he got Derek Stingley on another play. It's kind of up the middle, and he kind of cut it inside. C.J. Stroud hit him, and he beat Stingley again. But I'm putting an asterisk next to that one, because if that was a live play in a live football game, Jimmy Ward was coming in from the safety spot, and he would have absolutely demolished Stefon Diggs. I mean, he would have just brought the pain, on Stefon Diggs. Probably dislodged the football from him, probably got a letter and a fine from the NFL. Like, again, live rep with pads in a live game, Stefon Diggs maybe is going to the hospital. Like, that's how fast Ward was closing on this thing. But Diggs did his job to get open, and you never know what a safety is going to do in that situation. Some of those guys pull up. Some of those guys, don't always lay the big hit anymore. Some of those guys do lay the big hit and get ejected. And the NFL is very strange about how they operate that thing. But again, time and time again, you see Stefon Diggs catching the ball. And look, guys have got to get open. And Nico's got to be on the field with Stefon Diggs or with Tank Dell to get the ball. And look, he's on the field. They rotate those guys in there, but they're not going to go 3 wide receiver every time they're out there on the field. They're not going with Diggs and Collins and Dell always on the field together. They're going to mix and match and move things around. They'll put tight ends on the field. They'll put a running back on the field. Maybe sometimes there's a fullback on the field. So I'll be very interested to see how kind of the percentages break down, the snap shares break down over the course of the season. Now, that's maybe a season thing that we have to figure out because I don't anticipate they're playing much, if any, in the preseason. Maybe joint practices against the Rams. We get kind of an inkling of the Diggs, Collins, Dell pecking order within that. Ultimately, and Bobby Slowick talked about this after practice today, he's not super worried about it. Everybody's on board. Everybody's pulling the rope the same direction, and they're not worried about this guy getting enough or that guy getting enough. But it is noticeable that Stefon Diggs still very much looks like an elite wide receiver and has had seemingly the most catches here in training camp from C.J. Stroud. So Diggs the dude, the top thing. And Diggs will play a part in this as well. The defense feels a little bit ahead of the offense right now. And Diggs was a part of one of those moments. It was a team drill. The Texans ran I don't know if it was a reverse. I don't know if it was a designed hand. Long story short, Stefon Diggs ended up with the ball in the backfield, starting on one side. And in the backfield, he's running, and he gets the football. And Will Anderson was there. And in a live rep situation, that's not only probably a fumble and a recovery by the defense. Stefon Diggs probably wakes up thinking he's still a Minnesota Viking. That's how nasty that play was. Will Anderson just immediately dispatches Blake Fisher. He's in the backfield. He sees Diggs coming, and Anderson kind of laughs and yells at the same time based on what the result of that play would have been in a live rep in a game. And it was one of those that didn't go the way that the offense planned it to go. So that was not good for the offense. And I mentioned Derek Stingley got put in the blender by Stefon Diggs. Stingley had plenty of nice moments throughout the day. He had a pass breakup on Nico Collins where, look, he just makes that, when that wide receiver runs a little comeback, a few yards, plant, turn, he makes that recognition and covering that space, the word I'm looking for is escaping me. Closing the distance, that's what I was looking for. He closes that distance so fast and so easy, and he just was over there and just, boop, there's a pass breakup. Later, he's toe-to-toe with Noah Brown. We've seen C.J. Stroud have an issue hitting some of these deep passes in these first couple of practices. He had one to Nico Collins the other day where he had to go a little bit further than the route maybe was taking Nico because Derek Stingley was on Nico Collins' hip. Same thing again today. Derek Stingley on Noah Brown's hip. CJ put a really good ball on it. Noah Brown had to go full extension, full out, just barely outside of his fingertips, but Brown had himself a opportunity maybe with another step to catch that thing. But again, where C.J. Stroud has to put the football because of Derek Stingley's coverage is something that I have noticed. And it hasn't always worked out for Stingley, but it certainly doesn't always work out for the offense. Their defensive line has been pretty nasty, the Texans. The offensive line, look, it had a bunch of bad moments, but hey, Mario Edwards had himself a sack today. Ali Gay and Derek Barnett combined for a sack today. Eric Murray had an interception, and I put the air quotes up on that. If you're not watching, you're just listening. Interception because C.J. Stroud had to roll out. He was kind of, flushed out of the pocket. He wasn't set, and he kind of just chunked one up to Tank Dell off his back foot, and Dell was running, looking to his left. He had to look to his right. He turned back around to try to come get it. The DB's right there, and Eric Murray came flying in to dive underneath it, catches the football. Well, the official didn't signal that it was an interception. None of his teammates freaked out, but Eric Murray was running down the sideline like it was an interception. So you'll see some people say it was an interception. Eric Murray will tell you it's an interception based on the reaction of the teammates who freak out when an interception or a fumble recovery happens. Based on the reaction of his teammates, I do not believe Murray has an interception. That still has us at 0 interceptions over the course of training camp so far. So I'm going to say no interception. I will say good play by the defense to flush C.J. Stroud out, get him in that precarious position. And look, I'm not sitting here telling you the defense is just crushing the offense. The offense has its moments, but I'm looking through my notes. I got a sack from Mario Edwards, got a tackle for a loss from Mario Edwards. Marcus Harris had a tackle for a loss, 59, the rookie from Auburn that they drafted late, the offensive lineman. Desmond King crushed a guy right at the line of scrimmage. It looked like, he was there, he arrived, he was ready to tackle right there at the line of scrimmage for no gain. There was a rushing attack that the Texans, had bounced it right. It looked like they'd run this play maybe earlier in practice, and Damian Pierce had been able to kind of hit the edge, but they ran sort of a similar play. It was over to the right side, and then the defensive line just collapsed the offensive line, and they were sitting in Damian Pierce's lap. He had nowhere to go. So defense a little bit ahead of the offense, but the offense has their moments. Xavier Hutchinson had some nice plays. Noah Brown was running around, getting open. John Metchie had a big day. We'll talk about Metchie. Had some big moments. We'll talk about Metchie a little bit later on. But overall, I feel like the defense slightly ahead. And that's every training camp. I feel like I've talked about this every time training camp pops up. Defense usually shows up, and even without pads, then go out there and really affect things. Because when they're not, and think about this from a defensive line perspective, when they can't hit the quarterback, they slow up and they just get in the way. And I feel like that's not always the way the player is going to act in a live repetition. So you don't want to throw too much into a non-padded situation, because a lot of times they're getting into vision lanes that they're not going to get into because they're still trying to rush the passer. So defense a little ahead. I would think the offense is going to have some bounce back moments, though. We'll get to some of your comments, questions, joys, concerns here in just a moment, but I want to tell you about my friends at Urban Furniture and Decor. Luxury meets affordability meets you sitting and relaxing and being on the best furniture at the best price. The best local prices are at Urban Furniture and Decor. Check out the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com, urbanfurnituredecor.com. The link's in the description down below, and you can see those prices right there, exactly what you're going to pay. You can just order it online, deliver it to your home, or go see them at the gorgeous showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. Look at all this fantastic furniture, from Turkish furniture to Italian furniture to your traditional American furniture to the best of modern furniture, from the bedroom to the breakfast room to the side table to anything else that you might need. Urban Furniture and Decor has it for you, and they have got the best prices. Go see them. Tell them Cody Stoots sent you. Visit them on the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com. You will not be disappointed. Real sturdy furniture over there, too. I'm a big fella. I can put a hurting on some furniture. Urban Furniture and Decor, you're getting great, beautiful furniture. It's going to last you a very long time. You're freaking out about Christian Harris? I'll tell you why you shouldn't here in just a few moments. Let's get to some of the comments and questions. Good to see you, Rob. Good to see you, Razor Sharp Dre. Flossie, appreciate you jumping in. Spooky Scoobs, thank you. Let's go. Fixing to fold this laundry. It's good time management. Listening to this, folding the laundry. Houston, good to see you. Esco, appreciate you. Cody Burnett, thank you for joining up. And Cody's the newest member of Houston Football, the website where I do all my writing about the Houston Texans. He's the newest member. You can see the link in the description down below to sign up at Houston Football. Paid subscribers, just $7 a month. They get everything. Okay, and if you sign up for a year, I'll give you 2 months for free. How about that? He's the newest subscriber. He knows what it's all about. Chill out. Good to see you. Baylor Bear, bring the rain. Thank you. Jake Eubanks has a question. The offense sounds really nice, but can our defense make us a Super Bowl champion is the question. I believe the defense has potential to be better than the offense. That's the potential of the defense. They need a lot of things to happen for that to be the case, but they have really top-level potential. Katie says, I'm beating a dead horse on big three in no particular order. Stoots, Payne, Landry. We can talk weak spots in terms of players, but let's talk coach ranking in areas of concern at some point. All right, well, you know what? We'll get to that. I'm going to save it. We'll get to that towards the back end. We do question and answer. Abigail, good to see you. Starting defense very stout. CJ learning to adjust. And there's a couple of moments where CJ gets a little, I won't say frustrated, but he's very hard on himself and just kind of dials in. I saw him sitting like on his helmet at one point, just kind of on the ground, going through some things with a couple of the other players. Like, he really wants to have good practices and learn from any of the mistakes that they make. Jake says the offense. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Ben, any Kenyon Green notes? Waiting to see that Kareem Jackson career arc. Asked Bobby Slowick about Kenyon Green. He's like, I don't have a ton of experience with him because he was a rookie. I wasn't here, and then he got hurt last year. But the conversation around Green is he showed up in good shape. He's ready to compete, and he did what he needed to do in the offseason to find himself an opportunity. Peace, dog. Good to see you. Alex, Devin, Pedro. Yeah, Pedro, go get you a nightstand over at Urban Furniture Decor, man. They will take care of you. Nightstands, side tables, coffee tables, bed frames, mattresses. They got it all at Urban Furniture Decor. Got it all. Brandon says, Cody, I have a video idea if you want to break it down. I noticed last few years a team either needs to be top 3 offense or top 3 defense to make it to the Super Bowl. Something to think about. Let me make a note of that. As a potential seasons here. Let's talk about it. Top 3 D or O 4 SB. Okay. Make that note. Let's hope we don't come out of training camp like we did last year. Yeah, they were banged up last year, man. They were banged up. Had to cancel a joint practice last year because they were so injured. You think Texans make it as top 3 offense or defense? Offense is more likely, but they've got the potential for the defense. Need a little luck, though. When's the next food review? I will have food reviews, plural, for you next week. Off day tomorrow. No Texans practice tomorrow, so we'll still have content here on the channel. But food reviews, multiple for you next week. Is it wrong to think Marcus Harris can be a little stud muffin on this defense? It is not wrong. Maybe it's wrong, to say it the way you said it, but it is not wrong. Good to see you. Case KK. Case K. I don't know how. We'll just go with K. Stoots, man, I tell you what. We got some fun stuff coming for you with our great sponsors, man. Urban Furniture Decor, they're excited. They want you guys to come in there and buy some furniture, get it at a great price. They got financing options if you want to get like a whole bedroom set. They'll take care of you, man. They are the best. They're the best. And if you fantasy football folks, I got lots of stuff coming your way. So let's talk a little bit about this. You freaking out about Christian Harris yet? Christian Harris hasn't practiced. He has not been on the field. 3 straight practices. Off day tomorrow. Back at work on Monday. Is Harris going to be there? I don't know. Perhaps not. We haven't even seen him working out on the side field. Panic. Craze in the streets. Well, don't freak out. Don't panic. Here's Matt Burke to explain really why you should have no panic for Christian Harris.
Back when he's ready to play ball for us. I mean, again, this, a lot of guys you'll see as you guys are here throughout, we're just different sort of plans to get ready. I mean, again, our goal is game 1, week 1, and being healthy and stuff. So each guy's kind of on individualized plans. So he'll be ready to go when it's time.
He'll be ready to go when it's time. Don't freak out about Christian Harris. Don't get too worried about Christian Harris. It's a long training camp. He doesn't need a tremendous amount of reps. Look, you want him to get in there, get used to being on the field with Azeez Al-Shaair, get used to playing with some of those defensive linemen that he is going to play with. But don't freak out about no Christian Harris right now. It's just a little simple thing. It's not some the way I tweeted out Burke's comment initially, there was some perception like, oh, maybe Harris isn't all in. Maybe he's mad. I think he's just hurt right now, and he'll be back. Burke talked about it. Everybody just kind of ramps up a little bit different. Saturday also was Metchie roller coaster day. There were some ups and there were some downs. The ups, well, one of the best plays, maybe the best play of the day, the Metchie roller coaster. Davis Mills, a little bit better throw, a little bit more separation, and that's a walk-in touchdown. Nick Caserio right there in person. Let's run that by again. Mills gets his hips flipped around. Little sidebar here, probably was a sack. And then there's a Metchie flying down the field, is blasted past Mike Ford. And that was the play, or one of the plays of the day. Metchie had some nice moments. He had that one. That's the first big deep ball that we've seen completed in training camp. Good job by Mills to get that down there to him. Good job, good route by Metchie to beat Mike Ford and take it down the sideline. And he had another nice play, I think, over kind of in the middle of the field. But Metchie also had 2 drops in this practice. So it was a nice little roller coaster for John Metchie. It's a conversation that is a tougher one because it's kind of time to be there. It's time to be an NFL player. It's time to showcase something if you're John Metchie. But at the same time, like, there has to be some level of built-in leeway for him, for a guy that was, not healthy, because when he came into the league, he was coming off of a leg injury. He has the cancer situation that he deals with, finishes that up, but doesn't have a real offseason. Like, this is a real offseason. But the clock's ticking. Like, the Houston Texans are not waiting for John Metchie to figure all of this stuff out. Like, that's not the way that they can or will operate. And so Bobby Slowick, after practice today, said, hey, he is back in football shape. We're excited to see John Metchie at his best, play football. He's been really fun to watch. Let's get after it. And so there's a lot of work that Metchie's got to do to get this thing going and to make the team. And it's not going to be easy to do it, but hitting big highlight plays like that is going to be a big positive. But he cannot have drops. I have seen very few just flat out drops in training camp so far. Metchie's had 2 of them. And it's tough because how much special teams can he play? He's probably learning a lot of that special teams stuff. So how much special teams can he play? What can he bring to the table from that standpoint? There's almost all these other wide receivers have more special teams usefulness to them. Ben Skoranek can play on every special teams unit. Steven Sims is a return man. Robert Woods can return punts and maybe can return kicks. Xavier Hutchinson played special teams last year. So, the special team stuff, people start stacking that up. He's got to have good field results. And Xavier Hutchinson had a couple of nice plays on the field. And we talk about him with a conversation about Metchie and Skoranek and Sims and Woods and those guys in that quest for that 5-6 portion of the wide receiver room. 1, 2, 3, 4 is taken care of. It feels like, so Metchie's got to perform well. He's got to be consistent, and he's got to stack a bunch of these days in a row and be better than a lot of wide receivers that are out there who are out there making quite a few good plays. So the Metchie roller coaster today. Best play of the day, first deep shot of training camp to get completed, burns Mike Ford, couple of drops. Like, not the best combo, but you'll take the big play down the field, burning a corner to a crisp. You'll take that, even though it came with a couple of drops. Not the most fun. So those are my big observations for all 11 observations in detail and then some. Houston football is where you can find it. www.houfootball.com. The link's in the description down below. Just $7 a month. Get signed up. That's your reading, and then you can watch and listen to all of this fun stuff. Q&A time. Fire through your questions, comments. Stuff will I'll read things from the comments that'll spark, something from the notes that I want to get to. So fire those questions away. We will get to all of the questions and comments here. And P. Katie, let's see. Talk about weak spots in terms of players. Okay, weak spots are depth at cornerback and the health of safety and depth at offensive line. Those are the weak spots. Depth at running back until Dameon Pierce for sure proves he's the guy. Let's talk about coach ranking and areas of concern at some point. I don't know a lot. I mean, I know about the coaches that are still here. I don't have like a ranking of coaches and like how they're doing with their position groups and things like that. That's something maybe for a little bit later on in camp. I know Chris Strausser, the offensive line coach, has got to be pretty happy with who he's got to work with and how healthy it feels like everybody is. So that's a big positive. And then, they switched over things with the D-line coach. They got a new linebackers coach. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot from the coaches standpoint. If you got a super chat, you go to the front of the line. Let's get to all your comments and what you have to say. Kevin says, Landry said Fairbairn's still working on new kicking rules. Happy Saturday. Yeah, he had a couple of kicks that didn't look too good. He had a couple of kicks that looked okay, pretty good. I do wonder if sometimes what we see in those periods are working specifically on the coverage and return teams versus just Fairbairn. But he did have one kick that would have just handed the ball to the opposing team at the 40 because it didn't land in the landing zone. So that's something to pay attention to, have to watch. And I'm paying more attention to special teams than I ever have because of these new kickoff rules. This chair feels low. How do I raise my chair? I don't even know where the little knob is. I feel like my chair is low. Is that it? Nope, that ain't it. That it? Oh, look at that. Hold on, it gets higher. I feel like a real man now. I feel like I'm at a bar stool at a bar now. Okay, there we go. Now the little things that pop up don't eat my face. It's probably a little too high now. I know that might be a two. You know what? That's pretty good right there. All right. Text Fan J, thanks for what you do, Stoots. Hey, thank you for watching. Look, I would do this and talk about football no matter how many people are watching, but it's cool when all you guys show up and you have comments and, we get to go on tangents or maybe something that I didn't note, pops into my brain and I can tell you guys. So I have fun, man. What better way to spend a Saturday afternoon? Too hot to be outside. And my gosh, I nearly melted today. Landry's being a jerk to you yesterday. I don't like that guy. I had to turn off his stream. Look, we have a little fun. We pick at each other. I'll get under his skin a lot. He'll get under my skin a lot, probably more than I get under his skin. And we have some fun. We just kick it back and forth between each other. It's fun. Don't turn it off. You miss fun stuff if you turn it off. Daryl Hill says, quick question, and then writes a novel. I'm kidding, Daryl. Do you think the league will eventually expand the roster size to allow teams to have more special team specific players so teams won't have to use starters on the kickoff in the future? I believe the dirty conversation the NFL doesn't want to have is when they go to 18 games, they can't keep the roster at 53 players. They'll have to go to 55 or 57. Frank Ross, the defensive or the special teams coordinator, talked about this today. They are worried about and focusing on who can play special teams and then who's going to stay healthy while playing special teams. So they have a multitude of things that they have to pay attention to in figuring out who's going to make the roster, because not only do you have to have guys that can play special teams, but because they're adding real plays that aren't just a glorified sprint down the field, because you're adding real plays, you're adding to the wear and tear of players. And so you've got to figure out their workloads the best way. The NFL, I think in the future, is going to expand rosters. And coaches won't use it for teams or special teams only, guys. They'll use it for a running back that's situational that can also play a little special teams. There's very few special teams only guys. For instance, Neville Hewitt's the special teams ace. I mean, he's one of your key backup linebackers, This chair is going to be the death of me. That's better. Okay, I finally got the right height here. All right. There we go. Jalen Johnson, 0339. Did you see anything of note regarding the safeties at camp today? Kalen Bullock loves to blitz, man. They send him blitzing quite a bit. Eric Murray's good in the back end of coverage. I mean, he's kind of been directing some traffic there. Jimmy Ward would have crushed Stefon Diggs on that one play we talked about earlier in the stream. Jalen Petrie moves around a ton. Matt Burke talked about it after practice that they're trying to figure out exactly what spot he is best at. So they've been moving him around a lot. So any touchdowns today? I don't know. Maybe if you say Metchie could have broke out of the tackles there, he scored the touchdown, but nothing where I'm like, teams where they, covered 40, 50, 60 yards and scored a touchdown. Thoughts on the new receiver show on Netflix, and who on the Texans do you think could be on the show next year? I like it so far. I have not made it through everything. I've been catching up on the Hard Knocks from the Giants, the offseason Hard Knocks. I would do almost anything to get the offseason Hard Knocks for the Texans. Like the access that the Giants gave them, I don't know if any team's ever going to do it again, but the access that the Giants gave them was incredible. I would love for the Texans to do that. I have a hunch that Nick Caserio would lose his mind if he had to do that. He would not have fun doing that. Receiver's been good. I don't really like the 49ers angle, like Kittle and Debo. I don't really like focusing so much on the 49ers. I wish they'd have done, something else from that standpoint. Devontae is, he's relatable because he gets frustrated at work. Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad is incredible. And for the Texans, look, you would want to follow Diggs if he would ever say yes, especially because this might be his only year in Houston. You'd want to follow Diggs. That'd be the one. Is there anyone that you were surprised to see running with the ones? No. I mean, well, they'll tell you they don't have a depth chart yet. But CJ Stroud and CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Stefon Diggs. No, hold on. Yeah, CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Stefon Diggs, Damian Pierce, Dalton Schultz, and Tigran Quintariano lined up in one formation today. Like, Tigran Quintariano is not a guy I believe was going to make the roster, but he can go out there and showcase some things and has a unique size compared to the other tight ends. I mean, him and Cade Stover, big guys. He's got more experience than Stover. He's very athletic. Like, Quintariano's a guy to pay attention to. Jake Hansen's a guy to pay attention to. This is kind of an answer to this question. So Zach Rose says, love the content, brother, man. Thanks for all you do and all the updates. Zach, appreciate you for watching, man. Thank you. I love the folks that watch, and love that you love the updates. Who's Marcus Harris? Okay, good. You know what? I sometimes I'll just throw a name out there and you may not know. So if you don't know, ask the question. Marcus Harris is a rookie defensive tackle from Auburn that the Texans drafted in the 6th round in this past draft. He was Auburn's sack leader last year. And he is short. He wears 59. He is wide. And today he hit one of the nastiest swim moves I have seen from a rookie basically ever. I mean, he was a bullfighter, Olayed that offensive lineman and was ready to eat the running back. Like, Marcus Harris, when the pads come on, I'm very excited to watch him. He jumped on like the radar when I was reading John Harris's 15 observations or 18 observations the other day, and Harris was like, I got to see him. John Harris, who works for the Houston Texans, sideline reporter, the Houston Texans. So I can't wait to see him in pads. And I was like, okay. And then I watched Harris today, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, me too. I'm not worried about Christian Harris. More reps for Henry T. He needs to step up this year. To'o's had a nice few days. And he talk about a new stadium. I don't know where they would do it. Like, how do you put a new unless you're going out into the suburbs? I don't know what you do for a new stadium. You can't knock it down and rebuild where it is in enough time. Maybe if the Astrodome wasn't there, you build the new one next to it, but the dome's still there. You also have to think about the fact that a good portion of that year is occupied by other tenants. Soccer's in there a lot, big concerts, big events. The circus was supposed to come to town, but the roof from Barrel got messed up, so they can't have the circus there. The rodeo takes over for like 2 months, not just the stadium, like the whole area. It's like, I mean, if there's a new stadium conversation, I haven't heard it, and I don't believe they need one. Just keep upgrading NRG. There are newer stadiums in NRG that don't look as good as NRG. Pedro L says, my sources indicate that Christian Harris is holding out for a Patrick Mahomes type deal. Source, trust me, bro. Pedro. You said it right. It means what the what in Spanish. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. What the what in Spanish? Or case KK. Let's see. I see you, Mills. Always better to let small injuries heal than exacerbate them, turn them into bigger injuries. Perfect. The Texans might sign Justin Simmons. They might. They might not. The Justin Simmons conversation, I'd love Justin Simmons here. I believe he's a total game changer with what he can bring to the table at the safety spot. They also have 5 safeties that they like. They like MJ Stewart and Eric Murray as backups. Kalen Bullock's a rookie. And Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie are on this team. And that was who they were going to go into battle with last year before injuries caught up to them. Like, if you hear someone say the Texans are interested in Justin Simmons, don't believe it. Or it's coming from Justin Simmons. The Texans move in silence, like the G in lasagna. Shout out Little Wayne. Wayne always makes fun of me because I don't know anything about rap. I know that one. Nick Caserio doesn't tell anybody what he does. You know when you find out stuff from Nick Caserio or from the Texans? When it happens. You know? How many, they're linked to this, they're linked to that. Like, that stuff comes out from the agents, from the people. Like, I don't believe Justin Simmons is on the radar yet. I expect Metchie to showcase his talent in the preseason. Got to play, man. Got to play. Got to get out there. Got to play. If Metchie can't get it, we have a good amount of wide receiver depth. Yeah. Steven Sims, Robert Woods, Ben Skoranek, Xavier Hutchinson, Jared Wayne, Quintez Cephas, who caught a ball today. I didn't write that down in the notes, but he had a catch today. The former Lions player who was suspended for a year because he bet on football and then was, he's back now. The Texans signed him. Metchie will progress. Will do a lot to Texans. Metchie's progress will do a lot to Texans process recovering players like Dylan Horton. Yeah. And look, I feel like it's a very precarious position to kind of take, hey, this guy had the same thing. Oh, this is the same for him. Like, very different body types, very different positions, very different asks from the bodies in those positions. So I don't know that it's totally, A to B like that. But it would be really nice to, not only have Metchie return to the type of player that made him a second round pick, but also get Dylan Horton back here in short order as well. Urban Furniture and Decor is where you got to buy your furniture. Urban Furniture and Decor has beautiful luxury furniture at fantastic prices. Their slogan, where luxury meets affordability, that is for you. They give you incredible furniture from international places like Turkey, Italy. They've got your traditional and modern American furniture. They can help you stylize your room as well. You show them the room, what you have currently. They can give you suggestions on what you might need to change it around, change the look, what would look nice in there. Look at the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com. They have tons of stuff right there on the website. The price you'll pay is right there on the website. You can sort it by the type of furniture. You can sort it by what furniture it is, from the breakfast room to the bedroom, from side tables to the dining room table. Urban Furniture Decor has everything for you. urbanfurnituredecor.com. The beautiful showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. Go see them. Check them out. Tell them Cody Stoots sent you. More Q&A. I'll hang out here this afternoon answering questions for you as long as I can. Let's see here. I lost my bookmark, my spot here. Go through the comments. Justin Simmons, we were there. Okay, I saw a compilation of Xavier Worthy drops on the Chiefs already. Are they already working out? The Chiefs haven't reported yet, have they? Is that from minicamp or OTAs or whatever that was? How'd the tight ends look today? Schultz had a catch. I can't recall seeing that the first couple of days. But Dalton Schultz had a nice catch. Quateriano's running around. Brevin Jordan's, he looks like he's ready to go. He's quick. He's speedy. He had a nice play yesterday that I failed to mention yesterday. But I remembered it last night as I was thinking about it. He had a nice play just streaking across the front of the offense from one side to the other, and CJ hit him, and he turned that thing up. So, that and tight ends look okay. Because they haven't got the ball to Stover a lot yet, but I am excited to see that when it does happen. Rock WP, is it possible to bring Simmons in with the cap space? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're saving the cap space for Simmons, or are we saving it for JJ? Come on. I don't think that. Come on. What wide receiver gets cut? Right now I'd tell you the four for sure. Tank Dell, Stefon Diggs, Nico Collins, and then Noah Brown's my four. If they had to play a game tomorrow, I guess it would be Steven Sims and John Metchie. I guess there's a lot of time to figure out from the wide receivers. But as today, I'd say Metchie and Sims are your last two to make it. I heard Landry saying Laster was running with the ones. You think CB2 spot is his to lose at this point? Yes. I mean, I believe he came into training camp as the leader at the CB2 competition. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to go out there and showcase it. He's got to do it against opponents and not just his teammates. But he has absolutely the chance to be the cornerback too for this team. Certainly. Do you go to many away games? I don't. I like to consume the game as close to how I feel like the majority of the audience consumes it. It's like, yeah, fans go on the road to watch the game, but not as many as are at home. And I like to get the writing done and get to the stream, pop on with Landry, do my own stream as well on away games. Home games is different. Away games, everything's rushed because the team's trying to get back too. Home games, there's a little bit more woo-saw to the post game, especially after a win. So I don't go to a lot of away games. I will go to Dallas this year, though. I'm going to go watch them play the Cowboys. CB2 genuinely worried about Lassiter's speed. He hasn't looked slow yet. So that's what I would tell you about that. He hasn't looked slow yet. Is Kenyon Green at left guard? Still hope we get the full healthy O-line first game. He is still at left guard. Nothing to note from today's workout, but Green is indeed at left guard. Kendrick Green, we're fighting him for that spot, right behind him. So a lot of camp left, but, they play tomorrow. Kenyon Green, I think, would be a left guard. I think practice looks different when Stover can start stiff arming people. Yeah. Once that guy can get physical with people, he's going to get physical with them. Frank Z says, I'm interested in Chris Reed, the offensive lineman. They added Reed right before the start of training camp. He played in Indianapolis when Chris Strausser, the current offensive line coach for the Texans, was the offensive line coach for the Colts. I haven't seen a ton of Chris Reed just yet, but guys played a lot of football or played a little bit of football, and he's a depth piece. James says, keep NRG Stadium. It's a good stadium. Adam says, yeah, put it out in Katy. I'll commute from Austin each game day. Makes it shorter. New stadium next to NRG and just start a little collection. Yeah, a little menagerie of stadiums right there. Anything of note from the running backs in practice today? Great question. Dameon Pierce, 3 practices, 3 boxes checked. I felt like Pierce had a really good day again. Had a nice run to the right side where he kind of had to figure out what to do. Took it to the outside, which was where kind of the only place he could go. Got a few yards out of that. Had a great blitz pickup on Kamari Lassiter that was able to let C.J. Stroud get loose with the pass and get it to Dalton Schultz. So it was a really good sign from Dameon Pierce. Go out there, take care of all the things that you have to do as a running back. He did have a screenplay where I felt like he maybe should have cut inside, or maybe should have cut outside instead of going inside and following a couple of his blocks. It looked like he had more green out there. I think the difference in yardage, once we saw it on like the screen that they have for replays, because they have their own screen out there when they're live recording the plays, it'll play 3 times. So they play at 3 different little views and you see the play. So watching it again with like a little overhead view, maybe there wasn't as much yardage as I thought. Thought he kind of made the wrong decision there. Again, 3 yards difference. What does it matter that much? And then there was one where, the situation opened up like the Red Sea, and he was Moses, and he was flying through that thing. They had to make the read to get there. So see the hole, hit the hole. That's Dameon Pierce. He's got to be able to see the hole in a good way. Bobby Slowick spoke glowingly about him after. I would tell you that's the most from the running backs today. Nothing of note from Jawar Jordan. Daria Gumbawale dropped a pass, but that pass shouldn't have even got away. It should have been called a sack. British Brooks had a catch on the sideline, and actually Jamal Hill, I know one of everybody's favorite rookies that hasn't showcased anything just yet of note. It was British Brooks and Jamal Hill. I'll give them both a win because Hill was kind of headed to his left, then he had to cut back to his right to catch British Brooks over on the sideline. So it's a good job by both of those guys. Let's see here. Justin Simmons has been second-team All-Pro the past 3 seasons. Yeah, look, he's a really good safety. Like, he'd be a game changer for this team. I just feel like if they wanted Justin Simmons, he'd already be on the team. Patriot Nickel unlocks him. I'm assuming 119 dozen 55 suites talking about Simmons. Blake Fisher looking impressions yet. Blake Fisher, the second-round pick for the Texans, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. He's Laramie Tunsil right now while Laramie Tunsil's working back from his injury. So he's getting a lot of opportunities against the Danielle Hunters and the Will Andersons of the world. Today, it did not look good at one time because Blake Fisher he was evaporated by Will Anderson, and Anderson was there to make that play on Stefon Diggs that we talked about earlier. But he's had some nice moments. He's had some moments where he's gotten in front of Will Anderson, or he's kind of had to, pay attention to what he's doing and, get off of this block and go take care of business here. It hasn't been real good, but it hadn't been bad. So it's a lot of work to do, and he's going to get a good amount of opportunities here because of Tunsil still working back. Jay Hoover, Cody's such a positive dude. Seems hard to make you mad. Landry live last night was a hard watch, even though I rock with Landry. Keep up the good content. Yeah, we probably got a little too aggressive on that last night, but man, appreciate you watching last night. Appreciate you watching today. I have a video with Will Kunkel from Fox 26 and DJ Bienemy from ESPN. That's in the link in the description. It's called Kicking It with Kunkel. I want you guys to do me a favor, actually. Can I ask something from y'all? In addition to supporting my great friends at Urban Furniture and Decor, can I ask something for you? In the description, it's Kicking It with Kunkel. And it's his YouTube channel. It's his YouTube show. Or it's Fox 26 YouTube channel, but it's Will's YouTube show. Can you go into the comment section of that video and just put thanks for the sunscreen? All right? And you don't all have to do it. Just if a few of you do it, it'll be very funny. But if you can just go in the comment section of Kicking It with Kunkel, the link's in the description, and just put thanks for the sunscreen. Because I didn't bring my sunscreen today, and Will let me borrow some. But it'll be a little inside joke between us, and will be like, why are these people saying thanks for the sunscreen? So go do that on that video. I'd appreciate it if you guys would do that for me. Have a little fun with Will Kunkel. James D., enjoyed your 11 observations on Substack. I'm starting to feel better about our interior first, second down defensive line. Ryans has a plan. He has some real space eaters to pair with our linebacker enforcers. Yeah, James brings up a really good point. There's a trust factor that I have with D'Amico Ryans to draw out the most from the defensive tackles that they do have in practice. Look, it's not the most impressive group of guys. You probably haven't heard of Mario Edwards before this year's Folo Ransu, Foley Fadukasu. You probably haven't heard of him before this year. Kurt Heinisch and Khalil Davis were on this team last year, but they didn't play as starters last year. Tim Settle, you probably never heard of him before this year. McTelvin Agam, you probably never heard of him before this year. Like, I trust D'Amico Ryans to draw out the most out of those guys in this situation that the Texans are in right now. NMD says, what up, Cody? New Mexican Texans fan. Thanks for the insight. What's going on at camp? I'm getting more and more excited about this team. Feels like something special is going on at NRG. Yeah, look, they've got the potential to have a really special and fun season. They really do. They really do. And you can't say that every single year. About every team. But the Texans do have a chance. Absolutely. And as I talk about Kicking It with Kunkel, Hawk says, caught you on the Fox 26 digital station yesterday, but it wasn't on the air channel. What's up with that? So Kicking It with Kunkel, which is Will's show, is on the Fox 26 YouTube, and then it's on the Fox smart TV app. I think it's called Fox Local. So that's where it airs. It doesn't air on, Big Fox, but, hey, we get enough success on it. We get enough thumbs up over on that video. We get enough thanks for the sunscreen comments. We might be able to convince the bigwigs over at regular Fox to put it on there. Who gets cut? Woods, me. Gets cut. Woods. I don't believe Robert Woods is gonna make this team. It'd be interesting if he did, because there's obviously a reason why he would stay, and like keeping him would make sense because he's got a high floor of reliability. The potential maybe is not as high. He can do a little punt return for you. How's the run game looking so far? Tough to tell because no pads, no padded practice yet. That'll start next week, but it hasn't looked bad. Oh, here we go. Who gets cut? Woods, Metchie, or Hutchinson? Well, out of this crew, if it was today, I would tell you it's Woods and Hutchinson. Let's go Jordan. I think you mean Brandy. You mean Jawar Jordan? Derek asks, "Hey Stoots, has anyone asked why the preseason home games are at noon this season?" I do not know. I do not know why the games are at noon. What I do know about preseason scheduling is there is a lot of local TV network input because that's where the games air, and there's a lot of NFL Network input because if they have a really fun game that they want to air or a game that they want to focus on, they'll snag that as well. So I would tell you that the Texans probably didn't decide that. That was probably the NFL Network as well as ABC, which I believe is where the games are going to be locally. I wonder how much Mixon improves our run game. I would tell you I believe it's going to be a lot. If he, along with the offensive line, can step up their game this year, produce top 10 running game, this offense will be elite. I believe in Joe Mixon. Any wrestling fans in here? My guy BG that works the front gate, the security, met him yesterday, and we were leaving, and he's like, "Hey man, what's your name again?" I'm like, "Cody." He's like, "Oh, like Cody Rhodes." And I was like, "Are you a wrestling fan?" If you're a wrestling fan, I believe in Joe Hendry is kind of a thing in wrestling now. But I believe in Joe Mixon. I believe in this healthy offensive line, giving Joe Mixon the opportunity to be one of the better running backs in football. He's paid like a top 8 back. He has the potential to be a top 8 back. He's not quite McCaffrey in the duality of his talent, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to be an excellent runner, and they're going to use him quite a bit. He's been tops in carries before, or near the top in carries before, and I would expect he's going to get quite a bit of opportunities. Cody, can you get me Danielle Hunter's arm workout? Yeah, you and me. I mean, Mr. Universe, and everybody wants Danielle Hunter's arm workout. That guy's a monster. The vascularity that he has, plus just he's got big muscles. He's a monster. Adam wants to go with me to Dallas, I guess. I'm 11 minutes behind on the comments. I'll get to all of them, I promise. Are they giving Jamal Hill linebacker reps or nickel reps? Linebacker. Hunter's arm workout. Be Jamaican, lift heavy. I can't help you with half of that. I know I went to Landry and told him that his show was really good, but let him finish his sentences. Then he got mad at me. Yeah, sometimes that happens. What's your thoughts on Blake Fisher so far? Overall thoughts? It hadn't been real good, hadn't been real bad. He's going to get a lot of opportunities here because Tunsil's missing time. This Chiefs guy keeps talking about the Chiefs. Hey, yeah, the Chiefs are good. Like, we'll find out how good they are in December and then probably again in January. Okay? The Chiefs are good. Thank you. Does the remaining twin and the British running back guy have a chance? That's a good question. So the remaining twin who you're asking about is Jaden Yonke, who played at South Dakota State. They're the Jackrabbits. He was an undrafted free agent. His brother, Jackson Yonke, is his twin. They played together at South Dakota State. Jaden was really productive. Jackson was thought to be the better prospect, but the Texans moved on from Jackson. He had a hamstring thing that he never got over from minicamp OTA. So Jaden is here. Hasn't made a play yet in training camp. Had a nice play in one of the OTAs or minicamp workouts in the spring. Does he have a chance? Sure. It's going to be very difficult, but he has a chance. And then British Brooks, who I've been talking with my buddy Sean Pendergast about. Every time we see British Brooks, I think about the British Bulldog, the professional wrestler. And I start, the British Bulldog theme song just kind of pops up in the back of my mind. But yeah, Bruce Brooks got a chance. He's a big back. Like he's a different size than all the other running backs. So that's something he's got going for him. I'll be interested to see how he performs with some of the preseason opportunities he's going to get and see what he can put together for that. Hey, thank you for the great job covering the camp for us outside of the U.S. Greetings from Vienna. Like Vienna, Austria? Like that Vienna? The capital of Austria, Vienna? Which, as I quickly look through some of the Google images, looks like one of the most gorgeous places I've ever seen in my life. That Vienna? That's cool. Hey, hello to Austria. If indeed that's the Vienna we're thinking of. Is there another Vienna? I'm also still 10 minutes behind. I think Justin Simmons wait until after training camp. I don't know. I don't know what Simmons is thinking. I don't know what Quandre Diggs is thinking. 119 doesn't video I sweat says, y'all were great with Kunkel. Hopefully that will be a regular trio. Y'all are the best three covering the Texans. Kind words, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. So it looks like Tommy's going to flip the field a lot for us when he punts the ball. See, Jalen's on it today. Jalen's asked some really good questions. I did some hand timing with the iPhone stopwatch on Tommy Townsend's hang time today on his punts. So I 7 punts. 505, 470, 503, 503, 49, 513, 528. I mean, the ball hangs forever in the air when Tommy Townsen, the new punter that the Texans have, they got from the Chiefs in free agency this past offseason. He's an all-pro 2 years ago. Last year, Cam Johnston, the Texans punter, actually had slightly better stats in a couple of punting categories. But watching Townsen punt already a handful of days in, I've already forgotten about Cam Johnston. I've already forgotten about him. Tommy Townsen is a monster. I was trying to come up with a nickname for him. And I was thinking about Tommy the Tank Engine because, when you hit a really big punt, sometimes people call it tanks. But the Texans already have a tank Dell, so I didn't think Tommy the Tank Engine fit as much. He's a weapon. I hope the Texans don't have to utilize that often because hopefully they're scoring and not punting the football. But they look ready to have some fun opportunities when Tommy Townsend's out there. Balin says, I like Fadukasi with the Jets under Solly. He was a great run stuffer. He should have a similar role here in D'Amico's defense, which is very similar to Salah's. I said we probably do need a pass rushing defensive tackle. Yeah, you need a little juice out of that defensive tackle spot. And they're going to mix and match the 4 or 5 defensive tackles that they keep for what they need out of a defensive tackle for that moment. Balin also says Jonathan Allen would be a dream addition, but probably unlikely unless we're cooking by the deadline, have a glaring hole at defensive tackle. Yeah, I would think Jonathan Allen's not going anywhere anytime soon, but stranger things have happened. I still think we should have kept Devin Singletary. Joe Mixon's better than Devin Singletary. I would have liked to have had both of them, but Joe Mixon's better. Mixon's great out of the shotgun. Yeah, he did a lot of that in Cincinnati. A lot of that. Metchie seems like he had a good grab in camp today. Yeah, he did. He had a really nice play in camp today. I want to see it again. Houston Texans Twitter account. The origin of this. So, okay, there's Jacob Phillips. He wears 22 as a linebacker. Noah, thank you for the question here. I think this is a sack. Like, that's a sack, right? Defensive lineman right there. At the very least, that's a holding call. Just an absolute bomb here by Davis. Just maybe a little behind. I mean, that's a good catch. I don't know. Maybe that's Metchie that didn't run that right. He probably gets tackled there if it's a live rep. Mike Ford in coverage. Jeff Okuda was coming over from the other side. There's MJ Stewart in coverage. Yeah, that was Metchie's big play today. That's the best play of the day. Best play of the day. If you don't count Stefon Diggs putting Stingley in a blender for, a medium-sized gain. What are the odds of JJ returning? Not high. Not high. Are the rumors about Simmons true? I don't believe so. The fact that there are rumors about Simmons tells you that somebody that's not the Houston Texans is talking about it, which if the Texans are talking about it, then why are we believing it? Joe Mixon coming out 6 foot, 3'4", 228, 4.5. I mean, Mixon was he was a monster coming out physically, and he is a true bell cow running back. Senor Larry says Chiefs fan checking in knows that he's scared. Straussy, hello. Hello from the United States, and hello to Vienna, where they have a Texans fan. I would assume there's more than just you, but thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. How do you think Singletary would do in New York? Dayball seemed to really like him and kind of wanted him. It feels like watching the HBO Hard Knocks on the Giants offseason. It feels like Dayball really wanted him. Darth Derp. Good name. Have you seen much from running back Jawar Jordan? Not yet. Pads. I mean, he had a nice run, I think, the first day. Caught some passes over on the sideline. Alexander, good to see you. Brandon says Townsend's 463 yards away from his 10,000th career punting yard. Expect to see that one game. Okay, I like that. See the Texans making noise at the trade deadline? Only if they need something. I mean, that's one of the reasons I've kind of kept in the back of my mind for why they might have all this cap space. And as Pedro mentions, Mixon has Super Bowl experience. He does. What have you love about Azeez now that you have seen him at minicamp and now at training camp? He is constantly just barking and communicating and getting everybody set up and squared away and be here, be there, go here, go there, constantly doing that. And then he was toe to toe with Noah Brown down the field. Toe to toe down the field with Noah Brown yesterday in some coverage, and I was like, that's not typically what he does, but that was something that he showcased as well. Brandon with some good stats here. Diggs also close to hitting 10,000 yards. It's good. All right. Here and they are giving Petrie Nicole reps. Yes, he is playing a little nickel, covering slot receivers, wide receivers, stuff like that. Get closer to the line of scrimmage for Jalen Petrie. Hey, Cody, I just tuned in. Was Tunsil at practice today? He was not. He did not practice today. Not worried about Tunsil. Not worried about Tunsil till it's a week before the season. So not worried about Tunsil. Okay, housekeeping. Want me to fluff your pillow? Want me? All right, a couple housekeeping things. Urban Furniture and Decor. I mean, we've talked about them here. Look at this beautiful, incredible furniture, colors, options, styles, Turkish furniture, Italian furniture, traditional, the latest and greatest from modern furniture, bedroom, breakfast room, dining room, living room, man cave, she shack, whatever. They've got furniture for you at Urban Furniture and Decor. Luxury meets affordability meets the best prices in town. Look at it, the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com. Check the description down below. Click over to the website and just see for yourself that it is a fantastic level of quality and beauty to this furniture, and you're not paying these crazy prices that some of these furniture stores will mark you up on. Okay. If you live outside of Houston, you can order it online. They'll deliver it to you as well. You see something beautiful online at urbanfurnituredecor.com. You can order it right there on the website and they'll deliver it to you wherever you live in the continental United States. So check them out and support them. Check out the beautiful showroom at 7909 Hillcroft as well. Urban Furniture, urbanfurnituredecor.com. urbanfurnituredecor.com. So check them out. Houston football. Bing, bang, bang. Got the writing up for all of the training camp stuff. We'll have writing on the site tomorrow, covering some of the things that guys have said at the podium this week and some of what the coaches have had to say at the podium this week. So we'll have stuff on Houston football tomorrow, which is an off day for practices. And then, of course, we will have your observations on Monday, which is practice day. Yet again, the pads will come on next week for the Houston Texans. So Houston football, paid subscribers get everything. $7 a month. You sign up for a year, I'll give you 2 months free. Okay. We'll have more Houston football, kind of stuff that you guys have talked about. Hats. There's people that want a red hat. I'm going to work on getting some more red hats. There's people that have talked about bucket hats. I've talked about bucket hats. Working on that. So that'll be on the horizon. The card art that I showcased the other day, if you haven't seen that, let me pull it up and show you. The card art that I showcased the other day. Let's see if I can find it. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Nope. Nope. Okay. Nope, that ain't it. All right. Hold on. There we go. Make it big. Stop share screen, share screen. Boy, this is great content, isn't it, Cody? I make these. It's card art. I call it card art. That's the best way to describe it. I make these. I'm going to have a way for you guys to purchase these if you'd like. I hand make them. They literally are one of a kind because the cards do not lay the same for anybody. They got great detail on them. I got a jack, king, a queen, a joker. I could do all kings for you if you want. I could do all queens if you're getting it for a female Texans fan. But I will have a way for you to purchase these, and I hand make them. I can do Astros. I can do college teams. I've done a Texas Tech one for a friend of mine. But I make those, and I'll have a way for you to purchase those next week. Okay? Let's see. What else do I have on the housekeeping? Watch Kicking It with Kunkel. The link's in the description. And when you watch that, go into the comment section. Okay, please, just do this for me as a little fun joke to play on Will. Go into the comment section of Kicking It with Kunkel. The link's in the description. And tell him thanks for the sunscreen. Okay? Go into the comment section and tell him thanks for the sunscreen. Gage asked, was Christian Harris at practice? He was not. He was not. Not worried. Matt Brooks said, hey, guys, just working back for himself. So not worried about that. So, all right. That does it for the live stream today. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll have content for you on the YouTube channel over the course of the next day. Plus, we'll have training camp observations for you Monday afternoon. Houston football, have you locked and loaded at Cody_Stoots on Twitter /X. That'll be fun. Thank you to the new viewers that I haven't seen or noticed before. Our international viewer from Vienna, wherever else our international viewers are from. I believe one of them is from the Philippines. So appreciate everybody watching, man. You guys make this so fun, and we have a blast, man, talking Texans. And it's going to be a fun year. And we're only through a few days of training camp, and I can't wait for the season to get here. And I am pumped for 2024 and covering this team. So we're going to have a blast. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We will see you here on the YouTube or the internet or see you wherever else we see you. Who knows where else I'll see you. So appreciate everybody. Have a great one. And almost forgot, but I did it. Oh, we're going to get more stickers too. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. That's how we end every live stream the same way. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.